Is the Star Wars franchise over as we know it? Have you seen the Acolyte? It's a big controversy right now. Let's talk about it. So, the Acolyte. This year I decided I was tired of Netflix and I watched everything on there. If you guys don't know already, I'm a movie buff. Aside from all the other interests I have, whitewater, politics, stuff I talk about, my stories. I'm also a big movie fan. So, anyway, this year, I usually go with Netflix, but I decided to go with Disney Plus.
Oh, Disney World! Disney World! Disney World! Oh.
And I've been watching it for a while. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but on Disney Plus, there's not much on there really. It's cheap. Yeah, I got the one with commercials, $7.99 a month in the US. I actually got it when I was in the Philippines still. I've also had Netflix in the Philippines, which you have to use a VPN for. Or last time I had it, you had to use a VPN for it. If you guys don't know what a VPN is, I talk about that in some of my other videos, but it's basically an app you put on your computer that throws your address, your IP address to your computer to wherever you want it to. So if I want the people I'm talking to on say a video call or something like that, or just an audio call on Wi-Fi, I put the IP address to Colorado or somewhere in the US, especially banks and stuff like that. If you travel a lot, they're very sensitive to where you're calling from, where you're trying to use your card from. So if you travel to the Philippines or travel a lot like I do, you'll have to work all that out. Maybe I'll make a video about that. I do have a video that goes into that somewhat. I'll link that up here, but I will make a video about that. If anybody shows interest, go ahead and comment below if you're interested in that. Anyway, back to Star Wars and the Acolyte. So, very few people know when I was about 9 years old. I mean, exactly 9 years old, because I remember I saw a psychiatrist. Even though if you saw my videos talking about my family in the past, we didn't have any money, but my mom was a great mom, so she went to the university, Stony Brook University, which was near where I grew up, and took me to graduate teaching assistant, or whatever would be the equivalent, a student psychiatrist basically, at the university there. And also when I was 9 years old, Star Wars 1 came out. I don't remember actually seeing Star Wars 1 in the theater when I saw it. In fact, I probably didn't see it in its first release. I do clearly and vividly remember seeing The Empire Strikes Back, because I was a little older by then. I was in seventh grade or something like that. I saw it that year. I must have, because I was in love with Star Wars. So when I was 9 years old, I was seeing this psychiatrist. I can't even remember her name right now, but I remember she was, a young college age student. She was pretty. I remember that. I noticed that at 9 years old. Anyway, I was so in love with Star Wars. Every time all right, let me circle back for a second. I was going to the psychiatrist because I refused to do anything in school at the time. And, everybody was diagnosing me with a reading disability and all this stuff. And I remember I consciously knew at 9 years old that I just didn't like school and I didn't want to do anything. So they suggested I go to a psychiatrist. So anyway, my mom takes me to a psychiatrist at Stony Brook, and my reward for doing my schoolwork is a Star Wars action figure. That's how I got all my first Star Wars action figures. I had Luke, I had Boba Fett, I had C-3PO, I had Chewbacca, I had Han Solo, I had Princess Leia. I didn't have any of the big stuff like the Millennium Falcon and stuff, because that stuff cost way too much money for my family at the time. But my mom must have stretched herself, now thinking back, just buying the action figures for me. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I'll link a How I Got Here playlist here. But if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I grew up with a single mom, a super mom with 5 kids. There was 5 of us and a single mom. My dad was a deadbeat who took off when I was 2 years old. The classic 80s story. He left for a pack of smokes. 70s. Actually, he left for a pack of smokes and never came back again. And that is true. He just disappeared. Anyway, I got the action figures. Every time I did something well, or did my homework or something like that, I got a new action figure. It wasn't like every day. It was like once every couple weeks or something like that. But it really motivated me to get my stuff done. That's how much I love Star Wars. So that is my preface to what's about to come, The Acolyte. The Acolyte, I watched it. I was looking forward to it. You know, I have Disney Plus, and when I finally watched it, when it came out 2 Tuesdays ago or 3 weeks ago or whatever, I was like, is this even Star Wars? And this is before I saw any of the reviews. I had seen some stuff. You know, there's these haters out there, and that's not me. These guys that just hate everything Star Wars with a girl lead or something like that. I don't get it. Like I liked the last set of movies, not the last trilogy I liked, not the third in the trilogy, not as so much, but the first one I really liked. And I liked the character of Rey in Star Wars. I thought she was a great character. And also her co-star, the guy in the first one of the last trilogy.
I don't know your name.
Finn, what's yours?
I'm Ray.
Ray.
I really liked as well. Anyway, going back to The Acolyte. The Acolyte is, not really Star Wars like at all. Since I got the Disney Plus channel back, I've been watching the shows I haven't watched. Honestly, I didn't make it through The Mandalorian. I watched the first two seasons. I didn't watch the third season. I heard it's bad, but that's not why I didn't watch it. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. But actually now I canceled Disney Plus because of The Acolyte. Because I figured if that's like the show they've been hyping, that's the best they got coming out, then I'm not going to watch it. Because it's not even like Star Wars. They made the Jedis all bad guys, which why do that, And then they have a coven of witches who are the good guys now. And
what the thread has tied together, no one can separate. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
twin girls who wield like the thread, which is the force, but they call it the thread, the witches do. But I don't think Disney understands that anybody who's into Star Wars would not be into a show about a coven of witches. Maybe a couple of them they're executives or whatever, but most people, like I said, I was 9 years old when the first Star Wars came out, who grew up on Star Wars, they want the force to be good and the dark side to be evil, and that's it. So Star Wars, to all of us who grew up on it, is a show basically about good and evil. The Jedi and the Sith, that's it. Good and evil. I mean, now they're twisting it to where the Jedi are bad, and maybe, us old school Star Wars fans are just simpletons, but we like just the good and evil aspect. Yoda. I know this story takes place in a different time, than the original Star Wars was set and stuff like that, but it's just not good. I mean, the sets aren't good, the writing's not good, the acting's not really that good. Anyway, I'm interested in what you guys have to say, especially, have you seen The Acolyte in the Philippines yet? My friends in the Philippines, let me know what you think, hardcore Star Wars fans. So from now on, occasionally I'm going to do these movie reviews and TV show reviews just because I like it. I hope you guys watch anyway. But anyway, that's all I got for today. See you guys next time.